A few days ago, I was exploring the depraved bowels of Wattpad. Don't ask. And I came across the most cursed, unexpected section, which is Shrek romance fanfics. And I'll admit, I actually did read a couple of them. But among them, I stumbled upon this gem. No, this diamond of a story, which is a love story taking place between Shrek and Farquaad. So now I'm going to share this traumatic experience with you. So buckle up, cozy up, because now it's time for this depraved story hour. Here we go. There he is. Absolutely stunning. A fresh layer of swamp mud coating the outside of his beautiful body. I can smell him from where I stand, about 50 feet away, behind a willow tree. He is gorgeous, and I want him so bad. I can just imagine us together, his tough green skin against my cheek, my red velvet robes brushing his kneecaps. My mind comes back from its daydreaming, and I continue to gaze at the love of my life. How I wish he knew how in love I was with him. Alas, he does not. No one does. Everyone thinks that I'm with Fiona, but deep down, my heart is for Shrek. I quickly duck behind the tree and hold my breath as Shrek turns around and gazes in my direction. He is so perfect. I want him so bad. If only he knew. Also, some of the grammar and sentence structure is questionable, so if I'm stumbling or whatever, it's not me, it's the story, okay? I'm just trying to decipher it. At least that's my excuse. I stand behind the tree, almost breathless. He is so hot. I need to make a move. I step from behind the tree and give Shrek a seductive stare. I drool a little, looking at his undefined cheekbones and his moldy boots. He finally notices me. Oi, Farquaad! Okay, my Shrek accent's so bad, but that has been my lifelong wish, is to be able to impersonate Shrek. Like, and obviously I'm very far from it, so... Whew, okay. He finally notices me. Oi, Farquaad! He shouts. I hesitate, as it takes me a second to muscle up enough strength to respond. I don't want to mess this up. Hello, Shrek. I say. He gives me a confused glance. Oi, have you seen Donkey around here, Farquaad? He asks hurriedly. No, I'm afraid not, I respond. Oh my gosh, this is one sexy ogre. I can help you look for him if you want, I say, my clever scheme to continue being around him. Yeah, I guess, Shrek responds. I'm sorry, it's so bad. It's so bad. It cracks me up how bad it is, though. We walk together through the muddy swamp. Shrek crushes thick grasses underneath his molding boots in front of me. I moan. Shrek turns around with a shocked look on his face. Must have been the birds, I say. Shrek turns back and keeps walking. We walk together for another few minutes, and I imagine us together, hand in hand, dancing romantically through the pungent fumes and thick mud of the swamp. Eventually, we come to a clearing. Donkey lays dead in the center. Oh, I don't remember that. What? I must have been so distracted by the overarching romantic arc. Okay. Shrek lets out a high-pitched scream, and I see Fiona's hunched body eating chunks of Donkey's flesh. He runs up to her. With one mighty blow of his fist, he sends her flying into a cloud of mace, and she falls face first dead into a muddy pit. Secretly, I am thrilled, because now that Fiona and Donkey are out of the way, I can finally have a true relationship with Daddy Shrek. It says Daddy Shrek. I walk over to Shrek and whisper a few consoling words in his ear whilst patting his back. He turns around and cries into my robes. His tears soak into my robes and weigh them down, but I let him continue crying. I decide it's time. Yeah, it is time, so get your holy water out. I slowly move my lips down his crusty green neck and onto his cheek, where I give him a light kiss. He looks at me, his eyes full of longing, and he kisses me back. I blush, and we stare into each other's eyes. Shrek moves his hands down my neck, and I stare into his eyes. This is when he realizes that I am the one. Not Fiona, not Donkey, me. He kisses me again, this time on the lips. I feel his rough face against my soft one. Perfect harmony has been made between ogre and human. I walk my fingers seductively across his lips, teasing him for more. I kiss him one final time, and can taste the maggots he had for lunch on his tongue. Whoa, I say, as I am at a loss for words. We stand up and begin walking hand in hand back to his part of the swamp. Today couldn't have gone better. All the creatures who live in the swamp stare at us as we walk by. Clearly, they are jealous that I've managed to seduce Daddy Shrek and they haven't. Shrek ignores their gasps and their glares, and I feel his rough hand clench mine tighter. The sky is slowly turning a light shade of orange, just like Shrek's teeth, as the sun begins to set. I let go of his hand and turn to walk back to my castle, but Shrek pulls me back and says, "Oh no, you're not going anywhere." He clenches my hand tightly and pulls me toward his rundown hut for us to stay the night in together. How we going so far? We surviving? We liking it, huh? I mean, I won't judge. Partially. Okay, this is the last page. The final stretch. I can smell the fresh stench of rotting food as we enter Shrek's shack. Shrek's shack. It smells like love. He looks deep into my eyes and kisses me on the lips. I can feel his rough tongue in my mouth, and I can almost taste his last meal. He leads me over to his kitchen and tells me to sit at the table while he makes us dinner. As he cooks, we make small talk. "Today certainly was a strange day," he says. "Very strange indeed," I reply. But I loved every bit of it. Shrek tosses a few rotting mushrooms into a boiling pot of sludge, and he stirs it around. I can almost feel the indigestion already. How romantic. He pours it into 2 wooden bowls and sets one in front of me. I slowly sip the thick and chunky stew, staring Shrek dead in the eyes. Suddenly, he gets up and runs over to me, and grabs my face with his 2 wart-covered hands. "Lord Farquaad?" It's not Irish. "Lord Farquaad, ever since I made eye contact with you in that strange..." That's Irish, or no. Okay. That's not Irish. I don't know what it is. Here we go, okay. It's like a full-on sentence, and it's all gonna be in Shrek's accent. Like, how can I do that? Bear with me. Trying to channel my inner Shrek. Goals. "Lord Farquaad, ever since I made eye contact with you in that strange clearing, I have been deeply in love with you." That's terrible. Okay. Shrek says. I reply, "Dearest Shrek, ever since I first saw you, I have been deeply in love with you." He looks right into my eyes and kisses me yet again. He lifts me up and sets me on the countertop. We make out for several minutes, and once we finish, we lay down on Shrek's decrepit bed and cuddle. I stroke Shrek's bald head. It's quite bumpy, but I love it. The sun sets and we lay there. Life is perfect. And thus concludes this tale of debauchery. It seems satirical, which gives me hope for society. But I actually found that pretty funny. I love me some good Shrek content, and this delivered. Well, good, I guess. I mean, it's pretty funny. It's pretty tantalizing, pretty enrapturing. Like, kept me tethered from start to finish. I mean, the ending was kind of dismal. Like, that's it. Okay. If you want some hours of entertainment and whatever else you want to call it, you should go on Wattpad and look up Shrek romance fanfics. They will deliver. Whether it's a raw and disgusting delivery or not, that's up to you. That's up to you. So tell me what you thought and how horrible this was for you, or how much you liked it. Overall, it was pretty enjoyable. I mean, it stood out above the rest, which I'll give it that.